can't hack your classes? We can't help with that. But we can help you hack your hunger. Welcome to Hunger Hacks, the podcast made for students, by students, where we share tips on eating better, saving money, and surviving on a student budget. Hi, I'm Miyuki, the host of today's podcast. Have you ever struggled to pick food because of the price? Have you ever gone between stores searching for the lowest price just for a few pennies? We are here to help. According to Statistics Canada, grocery prices rose by 3.4% over the last year, outpacing the overall inflation rate of 1.7%. Last week, we talked with the UTSC Food Center, where they rely on food donations from a food bank. From June 2024, there are around 390,000 client visits to the Daily Bread member food program, where average 1 in 4 clients are children. Today, we are widening the lens and interviewing Sahar Raza, the Vice President of Research and Advocacy at the Daily Bread Food Bank, to learn about how hunger affects our everyday life.
So can I ask you, you have any personal experience where you thought, oh, this really impacted me working here at the Daily Bread Food Bank?
Yeah, part of the reason I work here, to be honest, is that every day I'm interacting with volunteers, with clients who are directly impacted by this work. So that, in general, is what keeps me going. But yeah, there was a story that we got from a client in 2024 for our Who's Hungry report. It was an immigrant mom. She had 2 kids, and I don't know if you remember when a lot of newcomers were coming to Canada, they were actually put into hotels as a temporary shelter. So she was in a hotel. She was pregnant with her 3rd child. And then when she had to go to the hospital to give birth, she didn't have anyone to take care of her other 2 kids, right? So she had to leave them in the hotel room, and they made a bit of a mess. And so when she came home from the hospital, they got kicked out of the shelter. They got kicked out of the hotel. I just had my own baby last year. I just returned from parental leave. So that to me, I was struggling being well housed. Can you imagine having 3 kids, a newborn, and you're on the streets, with no social supports? Those are the people who you see their resilience, but you shouldn't have to be that resilient to meet your basic needs like housing and food, right? So that one sticks with me.
So can I ask you, we were reading the 2025 Who's Hungry report, and it says 1 in 4 Toronto households are food insecure. Can you define what food insecure means, being food insecure means?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's an official definition that you can pull from the Government of Canada, from Stats Canada, but I would say on a more basic level, it's really just about not having enough food or not enough income rather, to afford your basic needs. So it's not just about having empty cupboards, it's about those impossible trade-offs. It can start from just being worried about not having enough food to actually cutting corners, maybe having lower quality food to, unfortunately where many of our clients end, which is just that they're going whole days without food. They can't even put food on the table. So there's a whole spectrum, but ultimately it comes back to income, not having adequate incomes. And, with rent through the roof and so many other expenses so high, groceries and food are where people end up squeezing because it's more flexible. Rent is rent,
Yeah, we were reading, and it says 53% of people are skipping meals. Does this trend surprise you on your everyday?
It's concerning, but unfortunately it's not surprising because, as I said, housing prices have been going up so much. And if you want to keep a roof over your head, which is pretty important in a country like Canada, look at our winters, you can't negotiate on your rent. So if you only have $1,500 and your rent is $1,400, well, the thing that's going to get squeezed is food. And so people end up skipping meals, especially if you have kids, you're more likely to prioritize your children's food over your own food. So it's concerning, but unfortunately, that's the reality of the trade-offs people have to make.
Maybe our last question. So on a personal note, what motivates you to come every day to work when you're faced with such a increase of people needing this service? What makes you come and not feel oh, this is not getting better, and it's just tracing back to bad services, and the city is just so big, so many people.
I know it can feel overwhelming, but I think again, what keeps me personally motivated is the people. It's seeing the resilience of our clients every day. I mean, they're making it work despite their really tough circumstances. Also, the people who work here, like there's 100+ people. We get 7,000 volunteers every year to help us. So these are people who are committed to this shared mission, and that really gives me the optimism of like, okay, we are building a movement. And we do, frankly, get policy wins. They might be small, but those small policy wins show me there is political will, we're making progress, and we need to keep fighting this good fight for things to change. Someone has to do it, and that's daily bread. So I'm just proud to be part of that mission.
This way I can lean the heavy stuff on the side. 20? Is that 20? I wasn't even counting.
Hi, we're back. You've probably noticed groceries are getting really expensive. Food banks and grocery apps have both become go-to resources, especially for students trying to keep up with rising food costs.
Yeah, and with food banks facing more demand and limited resources, a lot of people are turning to apps instead, scrolling to deals, comparing prices, just trying to stretch their money.
Exactly. And honestly, both of these options point to the same issues. The cost of living is going up, and people are having to adapt just to afford basic meals.
So today we're comparing 3 grocery apps that can actually help: Flip, Instacart, and Too Good To Go.
Let's start with Flip. It's an app that gives you digital grocery flyers so you can find the best deals.
Oh yeah, I heard of that. Doesn't it let you search for like specific items too?
It does. There's a search feature where you can find the lowest prices and even price match. It's basically all in one app for comparing grocery deals across Canada.
That actually sounds super helpful.
It really is. It was the first app I used when I moved to Canada. It's really user-friendly, and I can save my shopping list and quickly find the best deals at major grocery stores.
Okay, what about Instacart?
Instacart is more about convenience. It's a grocery delivery app that you can bring groceries to your door in as fast as an hour.
An hour? That's so fast.
Right? It used your location to find nearby stores and the best prices. You can also filter things like delivery time, deals, and whether you want to pick up or delivery.
Is there a delivery fee though?
Yeah, but you get the first 3 orders without a fee. And after that, it depends on what you order. But a lot of people still find it worth it for the convenience. Plus, the contactless delivery make it feel safe and easy.
Makes sense, especially for busy students without a car, just like me.
Exactly. And it's interesting, there was even a recent article showing that more young people, like age 18 to 24, are getting into things like grocery memberships. It shows how much habits are changing.
All right, what's the third app?
Too Good To Go. And this one's actually really unique. It focuses on reducing food waste.
How does that work?
So basically, stores and restaurants sell surprise bags at a discounted price with unsold food before it would otherwise be thrown out.
That's actually such a good idea.
It really is. Around 40% food gets wasted every year. So this helps both the environment and people trying to save money.
Have you used it before?
Yeah, I actually use it and I love it. One time I got a surprise bag with a bunch of fresh vegetables and baked goods for way cheaper than usual.
That's amazing.
And it's kind of fun too, because you don't know exactly what you will get. Plus, you can find nearby stores and restaurants offering deals.
So overall, all 3 apps help in a different way.
Yeah, Flip helps you find deals, Instacart saves time with delivery, and Too Good To Go helps you save money while reducing food waste.
And all of them kind of show the same thing.
That people are finding new ways to deal with rising food costs.
Honestly, it's so smart. You kind of have to be resourceful now.
Exactly.
Well, I hope the 3 grocery apps could be of great use in your daily grocery shopping struggles. A hack for all of our listeners to find the best deals out of it.
Well, I want to order sushi from Too Good To Go.
Me too. Should we check the app?
Yeah, we should. This was today's Hunger Hacks for you. This is Hunger Hacks, the podcast where you learn how to hack your hunger. Stay tuned for next week's episode on meal preparations and nutrition. Are they worth it? Find out in the next episode of Hunger Hacks.